The Shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Rohmer. Under the influence of a powerful drug administered by Dr. Fu Manchu, Shan Greville has kidnapped Rima Barton and taken her to the Manchu's headquarters in Cairo's native city. With no recollection of his action, Greville returns to Shepherd's Hotel, where he learns of Rima's mysterious disappearance. Nayland Smith and the police question him without success. He remembers nothing. Adrian Arden, a crooked Cairo attorney, presents himself at the hotel as Fu Manchu's representative to treat with Smith and Barton for the exchange of Rima for the Mokana relics. Later, Fu Manchu himself telephones Smith accepting the conditions for the exchange, which is to be made that night at midnight in the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Smith, Petrie, Barton, and Greville, discussing the coming expedition, are considering a plan whereby Smith hopes to trap Fu Manchu.
The fiend, if I could only get my hands on him once.
And Fu Manchu keeps his word. Heaven help Rima if there's a slip.
Therefore, there must be no slip. The relics must be delivered as per the terms of the agreement. You know I stipulated a 10-minute truce following the exchange?
Yes?
But why the truce?
I naturally expected a trap. If Fu Manchu can get those relics and at the same time do away with two people who know a great deal about him and his methods, it would be to his advantage.
But why didn't you want Shan and me to deliver the relics?
Neither of you were important to him. Petrie and I, on the other hand, have been instrumental from time to time in more or less successfully disorganizing his devilish plots.
But he's not above murdering any of us.
No, he wouldn't hesitate at murder if it suited his plans. Strangely enough, though, he's incapable of dishonoring his word. I'm playing for safety.
Naturally, he has some plan in mind for us, Nayland, or he wouldn't have stipulated that we bring the relics. Why did you suggest the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid as the meeting place?
Because of its advantages, Petrie. Apart from the condition that only two go with the relics, there's nothing been said about our being covered by as many men as we wish to take with us.
Ah, I get your idea.
At midnight, Giza will be deserted and there's no moon. There'll be a cordon of police around the pyramid. When Rima's brought there, I'll immediately be notified.
By Jove, your pickets will get her on the way in.
Exactly, Sir Lionel.
And they won't even get their hands on the relics.
Also a possibility. However, if they do slip past our men, they'll be our prisoners. The police will close in around the entrance behind us.
And there are only two entrances to the pyramid and one entrance to the King's Chamber. We can't fail to get the relics back, even if you and Petrie do turn them over for Rima.
I can't understand why Fu Manchu hasn't seen through it. By accepting the pyramid as the meeting place, he's playing directly into our hands.
Don't begin cheering too soon, sir. Fu Manchu's as slippery as an eel. He hasn't agreed to my terms without careful consideration of every angle.
Well, he could probably work his conjuring tricks anywhere else within the terms of your agreement and escape. But the pyramid...
Exactly. I think we have Dr. Fu Manchu exactly where we want him this time. 11:30. No need to drive so fast, Petrie. There's plenty of time.
There's Giza just ahead. Everyone will be asleep in the village by this time.
Slow down, Petrie. There should be a constable along here somewhere.
I see. There's someone in the shadow of that tree beside the road. He's coming over.
Mr. Nayland Smith?
Yes, Constable. Any cars past here?
Nothing much, sir. 2 or 3 hotel parties for the Mina house over there.
No one else?
Well, I've noticed a lot of Bedouins around here tonight.
Bedouins? Making for the pyramids?
No, sir, they went into the village.
Very good, Constable. Carry on. Go ahead, Petrie. There's the Mina house. It's up in the shadow of the hotel wall, Petrie.
Right.
Oh, and here's another of Hewlett's men, I'll bet. In disguise this time. Who is it?
Enderby, sir. CID.
Oh, right. Anything to report?
There's a gathering of the heads of desert dervishes in the village tonight. I don't get it. As a rule, they don't mix.
I don't care for the sound of that, Smith. Dervishes are the worst sort of fanatics.
Thanks, Enderby. Carry on.
Righto, sir.
I'll leave the car here, Petrie. We have time to walk to the pyramid, and it may suit our purpose better. Give Petrie the suitcase, Barton. Come along, all of you. Why the dervishes? And the gathering in Gizeh? Odd, Petrie. As Enderby said, they don't usually mix. It means something. I wonder what.
Well, here's the pyramid. But now.
You're early, Smith.
Hello, Weymouth.
Glad to see you, Weymouth. What news?
None. I haven't seen a soul near the pyramid.
You mean no one has gone in?
Just that, Petrie. Both entrances are thoroughly covered.
That means our plan has failed, Smith. We're dealing with a man who knows all the moves in this game.
Fu Manchu's laughing at you, Smith. It's ridiculous to assume he'd expose any of his agents to a danger so very obvious.
How many men have you here, Weymouth?
60. The place is completely surrounded.
Greville's right, Nayland. We failed. How long have you been covering the pyramid, Weymouth?
Our men have been on the job since the guides knocked off. If anybody's gone through since then, he must have been invisible.
It's a trap. You've ruled me out, Smith, and it doesn't matter now, but by heaven...
When did you get in from Aswan, Weymouth?
Just after 8, I came directly out here from the station. One of my men met me with the news of what was going on. That's why I wasn't able to get in touch with you. I knew you'd be out here.
No harm done now that you're in charge. Where's Hewlett?
Covering the other entrance with a dozen men.
Good. I don't know what this means any more than the rest of you. From the looks of things, no one has gotten into the pyramid since sunset.
Then what are we going to do?
We've made an agreement, Petrie, with a man who keeps his word. We're going to keep ours to the letter.
He spotted the police and called off his agent.
Nevertheless, we'll stick to our agreement.
Fu Manchu must have anticipated that we'd do everything we could to arrest his agents as soon as the 10-minute truce period was up.
Perhaps they came, found they couldn't get through, and back out again.
That's right, Smith. Rima can't be in there.
I'm banking on Fu Manchu's word. The rescue of Rima's is vital to me, Greville, as it is to you. I'm not risking her life on any pet theory. I'm doing my best to make sure she's returned safely.
Oh, of course. I understand.
There's your entrance to the rock pile, Smith. What now?
Where are your men? How close are they?
All around you and within 30 feet. They'll close up as soon as we go in.
Well, you're not going in, Weymouth, old chap. Stand by, out here with Sir Lionel. You too, Greville.
Blast you, Smith. You intend to leave me out of this?
You are too infernally impetuous for the job ahead. Oh, Petrie, you have the case?
Yes.
Come on, then. You know the inside of this pile of stone?
Better than the average person, I think. I've examined every nook and corner many times.
Good. Well, here we are. Now lead on, directly to the king's chamber. And be careful.
Right. Now, this passage leads to the only entrance to the inner chambers. The king's among them. Throw the beam of your light ahead.
Wait. Stand still.
What is it? What are you listening for?
Anything. You know, if I hadn't spoken to Fu Manchu on the phone today, I'd swear we're alone here tonight.
No doubt we are.
And yet nothing's impossible where that man's concerned. He accepted my terms and agreed to the meeting place. And I'll be very much surprised if we don't find his agents in the king's chamber with Rima. Come on. What passage is this?
It leads to the great hall, which in turn will take us to the king's chamber. It isn't far now.
You're certain of the way? Listen. You hear that?
The deuce can it mean? A gong in the Great Pyramid.
Signal, Petrie, to let someone know we're coming. The devil only knows how they got in. But I was right. We're not alone.
Uncanny sound.
How much farther?
Up this incline to that dark, narrow opening.
The entrance to the passage leading to the King's Chamber, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, that proves Fu Manchu's agents got in here without being seen by our men.
I still have a hunch we're walking into a trap, Nayland.
And knowing the places you do, how could Fu Manchu's agents profit by getting rid of us? 20 men are back there covering the only 2 entrances. 40 more are within call in case of an Arab raid.
Yes, but the gong. If they got in unseen, certainly they can get out.
I know. It reduces our chances to 1. The word of Fu Manchu.
Well, I've never known him to break it, Nayland. But there's always a first time. I call it a beastly slim chance.
I'm confident we won't be touched for 10 minutes after Reema's been turned over to us.
And after that?
After that, old chap, war. Come along.
10 minutes. Well, you certainly have a lot of faith in that man's word.
Well, murderous and deadly as he is, he'd lose face in his own estimation by deviating 1 iota from his given word.
Well, how the deuce could his agents have gotten by the cordon?
I don't know. Unless they entered before the cordon was set.
In which case, they must have been seen entering by someone.
Not unlikely. But the guides and dragomen are true believers. Muslim men, all awaiting the coming of the reborn prophet. Fu Manchu's agents would have little fear of being reported.
Wait, Nayland.
What is it?
This is the entrance to the passage leading directly to the King's Chamber. Now, it's quite short. Flash your light toward the other end.
That narrow, low opening there takes us into the place, eh?
Yes. It's the only entrance to the King's Chamber.
Righto. I'll go ahead now. Follow closely. Come on. Careful of your head. This opening's quite low.
Gad. Even with that flash, the place is as dark as it. What's the deuce? Great Scott! Look behind! A stone barrier has dropped over the opening. We're trapped, Nayland.
Shadow of Fu Manchu.